You and my present.
What's going on, guys? My name is Jeff Pochilla. Welcome to a brand new video and welcome to Japan. And these are the practice results, as you can see, especially for to top the session, with Lewis Hamilton in second and then myself in third. My rival Daniel Ricciardo finished practice in 7th, and my teammate James Button finished practice in 10th. But now, as we go into qualifying, this is Q2, and this is what happened in Q2. So we've just gone purple in the first sector, and then you can see we have a car ahead, and that is Daniel Kvyat, and we want to get past him as soon as possible, and we outbrake ourselves and we hit Kvyat and he goes spinning off, and that lands us with a penalty, so we drop 10 places on the grid. And here we are again in Q2. We've just set our first lap. That was a banker lap. It wasn't a very good lap, so we of course we're going to go for another one. And into the first corner, shift down to third gear very late. Tried to leave it as late as possible, but not too late so you run out wide or spin. And then come around here, it's interesting. Usually this is a track that I'm really good at, by the way. As you saw on my F1 2013 career mode, I qualified on pole position in a Ferrari, which didn't have the best qualifying pace. And then I just went on to dominate that weekend. But now, as we're going through here, we are up on Sergio Perez this time by 7/10 in the first sector. As now we're coming up to the hairpin, and it's a second gear corner this time around. I've run wide slightly, not much, but it's still okay. And now as we're coming up to, and now this is pretty much a straight. You just want to go flat through here every single time, and then shift down to fourth gear as we come through Spoon Curve. Then at the end of Spoon, you go down to third, and then this is another straight that you just want to go flat out. And this is on the run up to 130R, but let's see where we are by the second sector split. And we are up, I believe, no, we're down by 4/10 on Perez's time through as we come through 130R. And now up to the chicane, shift down to second gear. Missed the first apex, we missed the first apex, but then really get the second apex perfectly. And then come down here onto the start finish straight open DRS, and that puts us 11th on 140.1. And so we end up 11th on the grid, which lands, so we qualify 11th, which obviously lands us 21st on the grid. And his teammate challenge, obviously we're still smashing Jenson Button, but not much. He's caught up on out races, podiums, and out qualifications, and championship points. But championship points, we've sort of held our ground more than any others, and this is a strategy, and it's option. And starting no options and going for 2 prime stints. I think that's what I'll leave it as. Anyway. And now we are going to look at the setup, I believe. And yeah, this is our setup. I think. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure actually. It's a setup basically. As now we go onto the track. And this is really a recovery drive because we're starting at the back of the grid. We're starting on the back row of the grid, so we only have one person behind us. But it's unfortunate, but it's going to be a recovery drive. But it's not necessarily that hard to recover at this track, I don't think. Well, it is actually, now I think about it, because you don't have a lot of overtaking opportunities. So we're going to need a really good start, but we should get a good start anyway. Sebastian Vettel, amazing, he got pole position, as it actually rained. That's why he got pole position. Just about my teammate qualified in 9th. And there we go, we qualified in 21st. As well, we're on the grid in 21st, we qualified 11th. But now as the 5 lights are coming on, we now have all 5, and away we go. We get a fairly decent start, I think. And no, we're getting it. No, we're brought down. So we hold our ground over Ericsson. Didn't really gain on Shilton. Coming up to the first corner, shift down to second gear. No contact, luckily, and ooh, that was close, especially with Kobayashi then. As we now get up the inside, and now we get past Grosjean, I believe. No, we don't. And now slight contact as we're getting mud in our eyes. No passes there on Grosjean. As now we're going up the inside of Grosjean, slight contact, and then we hit Maldonado as we're going around the outside, and City gets pushed out wide, but we can't get past him, as now we lose the back end a little bit, and we're defending against Maldonado, and now going through this sort of double right-hander, and now up to the hairpin, and we should be able to make a pass on Sittle at the hairpin. Shouldn't be that hard, as now coming up pit, and we're too far back, and there you can see Fernando Alonso in 13th, as we got the inside now of Adrian Sittle, and we saw Fernando Alonso, who was in 13th, and now at the beginning of lap 2, we're in 15th, and into the first corner, we tap Gutierrez, and then we get up the inside, and next up is Fernando Alonso, who started 17th, but actually qualified 18th on pure pace. And now all the way onto lap 7, we're coming to the pits, because we were sort of holding our ground. We lost a little time to Alonso at the end, and we take out the bollard there as we come into the pits. So we haven't really made up as much ground as we would have liked. Our rival Daniel Ricciardo is in 4th, and at this point Ricciardo hasn't had one good race since we picked him as our rival. The last 2 races he didn't score points in the last 2 races, as now we're going back down to standard because we don't want to get too much wheel spin, etc. And now coming out onto the pit, and now coming out of the pits, and Chilton and Ericsson get past us, but Chilton pushes out Ericsson off the track, and I don't think he got a penalty for that. But Chilton's ahead of us, but that's not much of a worry, as now we go on to lap 15. We did get back up to 14th, and we actually got up to 13th, not by passes because of somebody, I can't remember why, and then we dropped that back down, and now we're in the pits, and we're coming on, and we're putting on the intermediate tyres, because it's now got to intermediate conditions, and this is what our car is set up for, and that was Tim Marduk's setup. I've just remembered, because we set our car up for the sort of wet adaptable sort of setup is what our setup is. As now coming out of the pits, and I just faded that there because I actually had to cut a bit out. But that didn't change anything, as now we are going on to, and we're trying. So now we just need to try and get save fuel, but catch City at the same time. As now we go on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Nothing else much really happened, as now we are coming up to 130R. We've just gone through Spoon Curve, and we're coming up to 130R. And this is a fantastic corner. I love 130R. As we're going around there, flat, not lifting, shifting up to 8th gear straight afterwards, and then shifting down to 2nd for the chicane. Then lose the back end actually a little bit, and then now coming down, we cross the line in 16th place. So not a very good race. I'm disappointed with that. Really, I should be disappointed. Daniel Ricciardo, our rival, finishes 4th, and McLaren, we don't score points, so my teammate Jensen Button finishing 14th. But yeah, that's not a good race. As now we got to, and we weren't lapped, luckily. As now we go up the table, you can see Nico Rosberg won the race from Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel splitting the 2 Mercedes guys, which is always good. And Lewis Hamilton finishes in 4th. No, Lewis Hamilton finishes in 3rd to round out the podium positions. Daniel Ricciardo, our rival, in 4th. 5th is Valtteri Bottas, followed by his fellow Finn, Kimi Räikkönen, in 6th. 7th was Sergio Perez. 8th was former Ferrari driver Felipe Massa, beating current Ferrari driver Fernando Alonso. And then rounding out the top 10 is Nico Hülkenberg. So it's not good that Daniel Ricciardo beat us, but he's only beat us, but we still lead the rival challenge 2-1 to him. So we should be able to get that back, and we should be able to still beat Daniel Ricciardo in the rival challenge. And now onto the Drivers' Championship. Nico Rosberg leads the way, 21 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's going to have to do something in Russia and in the last 4 races to beat Rosberg. Vettel is in 3rd. Ricciardo is now back up into 4th by 11 points from us. Fernando Alonso in 6th. Then it's the other Ferrari, Kimi Räikkönen. 8th is our teammate Jensen Button. 9th is Nico Hülkenberg, and then it is Sergio Perez rounding up the top 10 and is 1 point behind his teammate Nico Rosberg, and Mercedes lead the way, 190 points from Red Bull. They won't leave Constructors' Championship champions here today, but they probably will next race. As McLaren, we're in third. We are 9 points ahead of Ferrari. But yeah, so that's basically the battle to watch, McLaren and Ferrari. But that's it for this video, guys. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe if you are new to my channel for F1 content. You can follow me on Twitter at F1HeadPetrol. As always, link to that down in the description. Keep fighting, Michael. Forza Jules. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Other people say